Hey guys, this is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor and your leverage for change. Before I forget, because I always do, I want to remind you that I do have my book on Amazon, and it's, gosh, I don't know how to put this so you can see it. It is called Nuggets of Wisdom for Reaching Your Highest Potential. And this book has like tiny little bite-sized nuggets is what I call them. And at the top of it, you have a quote that is relevant to what I'm speaking about. And then at the bottom, you have something that you can really just focus on for that day. So it's something that is it's really a handy little book to have. It's not really little, it's kind of big, but it's a handy book to have. Is almost like your personal life coach. Of course, you'll need additional help, but it is something that will cause you to think in different ways and to kind of wake up some of the things that you thought you never thought of before. So it is in, you can get it in Kindle, it's in Audible, and it's in print. So before I, also guys, I'm launching my new membership website where I can, you will get help needed to, it kind of balances out with the book, but you will get live help twice a month on a live Zoom session where we'll do some training and we ask some questions, whatever it is that you need to ask to help you through life with the relationships or whatever it is that we go through life and we encounter during our our lifetime, loss, divorce, different types of things, right? So I'll be giving you the tools then for that. Also, I don't want to really spend too much time on that, but guys, if you will, there is a, I'll put a link to my membership site below this. That way you can easily go there and check it out, okay? So today I want to really speak about boundaries and, because this is one of the issues that a lot of people have. Why is it that a lot of us have problems with boundaries, creating boundaries, right? Because what happens, what are boundaries really? What are boundaries? Boundaries is something, there's a time when people know that they can come this far, but they can't go beyond that. So in terms of, okay, so you need me to do something, ask me in advance so I can at least let you know that if I can do it or not. And also boundaries allow you to say no and not say yes to everything and try to people please and get anxious and overwhelmed and feel sick and stressed and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm going to be speaking about how living without boundaries can really harm you. It can really harm you, right guys? So basically, when you allow others to take advantage of you, to walk all over you, this is what we always hear when somebody is living without boundaries, or you're people pleasing and you do things to the detriment of your own health, then this is what it looks like when you're living without boundaries. And what happens then? Well, basically, when you see somebody living without boundaries, it's someone who takes on everybody's problems. They feel that they have to solve everybody's problems. They just feel that they need to be the one to solve everybody's problems. After a while, they begin to feel used, and they feel used, and then they, because people will take advantage of you. The more rope you give them, they will do it. They will take advantage of you until you tell them to stop. There are some people like that, unfortunately, right? People out there, will only be around you when they need you for something. They will just come to you, or they're just there for you, they're in your space, or will contact you and find out how you're doing only when they want something, right? And but you can never find them to do anything for you. These are people without boundaries, and they will allow this to happen over and over and over again. And it will also happen when you feel that you have to care for everyone else. Somebody without boundaries just feel that they have to care. They're the ones who have to care and do everything for everybody else. And yet these people never get that thing that, somebody doing something for them reciprocated. You're usually taken advantage of by others. you find it difficult to say no. I do have a video somewhere in my collection there on YouTube that kind of helps you to say, gives you some tools. I haven't finished all the entire, sequence of them as yet, but you can start to think of how you can learn to say no, but still try to keep the relationship going. Sometimes it's not possible to keep the relationship going depending on the person you're saying no to, but at least it will start you out and giving you some tools to think of on how you say no, right? You also, someone without boundaries just keep giving, and they give and they give and they give at the cost of their happiness. They give at the cost of their, they know that they have something to do, but they put everything on the back burner for them, but do everything for everybody else. And then they come back to find that they're so overwhelmed because these things are not done, and they are anxious and overwhelmed, and they get angry. And the more this happens, this person now becomes really depleted. They feel depleted, they feel drained, they feel like they get resentful and bitter, and all of this serves only to hurt the person who is being who has no boundaries. Really, all of those people who are using that person is gone about their business, doing their own thing, and they don't really care, right? So therefore, you have to have your boundaries, right? You have to keep those boundaries. And so because it really just harms a person who has no boundaries, right? Another way is that the person will start feeling helpless because they feel as if everything is out of their control because they're helping everybody else and nobody is helping them. Their life is a mess because there's things that they need to do, but they just cannot, they don't do it because they feel they should be doing everything else for everybody else. And there's just never ever enough time in the day for all of that. So you have to choose, and I'm not saying not to do anything for anybody else or be there for people. It is when it is abused. That's abused, and then that is not serving you guys. It's not serving you. So you need to learn how to put up your boundaries and maintain those boundaries, okay? Another thing you do is to feel stressed all the time, as I said, because of all this thing that people want you to do, and you go out of your way to do all of these things, and yet you have a whole boatload of stuff that you need to do that's not being done, all right? And basically you go to bed and you're ruminating about all the things that you have to do, so you don't get a good night's rest. You're worried about what people think of you, because that's what happens when you don't have any boundaries, because you care so much about what others think, right? And your life just simply feels out of control. All right, so guys, this is what happens when you don't have boundaries. You need to be able to build yourself up. A lot of what people who do not have boundaries, a lot of things I've found is that these individuals are usually, I believe you know that I speak about attachment styles as well. And this is one of the worst thing that happens to the attachment style that we call the fearful avoidant. Now, if you remember, the person with a fearful avoidant attachment style, they have both sides of, like, they have the anxious preoccupied, which they feel that they need to have a relationship. It's almost like they are like a love, they need to have a relationship. They need to have somebody in their lives, or they feel less than somehow, right? And when they have that person, they make the whole world revolves around the person. They put everything on the back burner for that person, right? So that's the anxious preoccupied. But they also have the part of, for the dismissive avoidant, who after a while, they get, they have not learned to trust anyone because of the experiences they had in their childhood, right? And so because they don't trust anyone, they learned early in life how to self-soothe. And the way they self-soothe is to distance themselves when things become too emotionally intense. And so when things become too emotionally intense, they leave, or they go away, they just disappear, or without telling you sometimes, or they just walk out of their house and go do whatever they're doing, and then you'll hear from them maybe a couple of weeks later on. So as you can tell, if somebody who's a fearful avoidant person has all these two kind of aspects to themselves, to their styles, right? That is a very difficult relationship, or difficult to live with, as well as a person who has that style find it very difficult to maintain any kind of relationship. But for the fearful avoidant, one of the most one of the things that affected them the most when they were children, which is not the same for dismissive avoidance, is that they were depended on to be almost like they were parentified, in terms of maybe their parents were on drugs, or they were mentally ill, or there was some issue with their emotional state, and so the child now become the parent to the parent. And so they had to, or they became parent also to younger siblings, right? And so in that case, this person is always people pleasing. But if they didn't do what they're supposed to do, then they will get cussed out by the parents, or they will be avoided and not loved. You know, they have that, they're only loved basically when they're doing something what the parents want. So it's taking care of them or taking care of their siblings. So they develop this thing that they need to people please to be loved. And this is where a lot of the individuals who are from that attachment style, this is a fearful avoidant now, develops this people-pleasing thing. And this is what can cause a lot of problems when it comes to creating boundaries, because they have no boundaries whatsoever. They were actually usually very enmeshed with their parents, because it's like they had to take care of their parents, and the parents would also come to them with their problems and cry on them. And it was just too much for a child, but that was what they experienced, right? So a lot of people, the individuals who have that particular attachment style, they are the ones that suffer the most. There are other things too, of course. It's not only pertaining to attachment styles, but a lot of people also, you know, just didn't grow up with a good self-image, because people told them that they were less than, they wouldn't amount to anything. You've heard this. You're just like your mommy, or you're just like your daddy, you're just, you know, whatever it is. And so these people found that they thought or they believed that doing for others, you know, is going to make them feel loved. Because, of course, the people who are using them to do these things always are very nice to them while they're doing it, but after that, they're gone, right? So, guys, that is what can happen when you live without boundaries. So it is so important for you to learn to set up boundaries, but not only to set them up, but to maintain them. So I'm going to share, as I said, my membership site, because these are tools, and these are trainings and videos and stuff that we will be discussing in our membership group for the people who are members, right? So I'll go much more in depth in that group on details of how it is to, how do you build you know, your boundaries, how do you create boundaries, and how do you maintain them, so that people don't just keep walking all over you every single day, and you just get resentful and vindictive and really just stressed out of your brain, out of your mind. All right, guys, so this is Christine, your relationship and mindset mastery doctor, and your leverage for change. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It helps me to, you know, to do more of these videos and builds my channel. So thank you so much in advance for doing that, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.